Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. We'll be sitting down with a fresh guest each week. Someone who shares the same kayak fishing passion that runs through our veins. We're talking kayak anglers, kayak companies, lure experts. Heck, anyone who's got a story to tell about landing the big ones from a kayak. We're setting our sights on becoming the #1 kayak fishing podcast in the world. You'll get a chuckle, a grin, and hey, maybe even a belly laugh. Because we believe in the power of humor. But above all, we're here to educate and inspire. So, whether you're a seasoned kayak angler or just dipping your toes into this exhilarating world, join us on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. It's time to reel in adventure, camaraderie, and the joy of the catch. Here's your host, Darren Wendell.
You fish freaks, welcome to episode number 139 of the KFO show, Kayak Fishing Obsessed. Wyatt may be popping in here. He is on Santee Cooper right now, and he was driving back, so we'll see him in a little bit, hopefully. But tonight is going to be a banger. We're diving straight into May bass fishing, the window where things can get really good or really confusing if you're not dialed in. There's no one better to speak about it and break it all down for us than who we've got joining us tonight, Drew Gregory. Drew is not just a hammer on the water. He's built a reputation around figuring fish out in real world conditions, especially this time of the year where you got pre-spawn, post-spawn, spawn, all at once, depending on where you're at. So we're excited about that. And on top of that, he's the man behind the Kayak Adventure Series. So looking forward to hear more about that tonight. And so we are going to be getting into what's actually working in May, how to stay on the bite as things change, and some truth bombs that'll help you catch more fish starting tomorrow. And of course, if you're out there chasing bass, you already know things can go sideways fast. And this is exactly why Hoover and I built K-Fast, real world safety training made specifically for kayak anglers. No fluff, just what actually keeps you safe out in the water, from PFD, best practices, to self-rescue, situational awareness. This is the stuff most people learn the hard way. So don't be that guy. Head over to kfast.co, get certified, and make sure every single trip ends the way it's supposed to with you coming home. All right, let's go ahead and bring on Drew. How's it going, brother? Oh, you're muted again. Show's muted.
Somehow I got muted. All right.
There he is.
How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good. We got 44 live right now, at number 52 live that keeps jumping. And yeah, we're just trying to figure out next month what's going on. I'd love to hear about the Kayak Adventure Series. I know that's where you're spending a lot of your time and attention. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you're like, I could beat your house in like 35 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
So,
I mean, we're super close. Yeah.
Really close to one another. This is not Drew's.
We were having audio problems right before we got on. We were trying to figure it out, and we could have just said, dude, hang tight. I'll be right over there.
Yeah, I'll be right over,
right next to you.
I'll hop on my e-bike and I'll be I'll be right over. So it's been a while since I had you on the show. How long ago was that?
Who knows, man? It seems like we're usually on every few months or 6 months or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I have you on the rotation. I like having Drew on. I get a lot of great feedback.
It's a good time, man.
And you're a hammer. You know what you're talking about, so it's
lots
good.
to talk about. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's just get a little download. Let's get Kayak Adventure Series. Let's talk about that a little bit, because I know you're like right in the thick of it. You're coming off a really great event. I know you're super pumped about it. So walk me through what's been happening recently, and of course, what's going on here in the next few weeks and few months.
Man, it was awesome. You guys definitely, if you've not done one of these events, I'll tell you, Darren, I'm like, the thing that I took away from this great Midwest of us event in Indiana that we had was just how many people texted me and emailed me and messaged me when we ended it saying, like, dude, they was their first time fishing one, or maybe it was their second time or whatever. But I got so many messages saying, dude, you were onto something here. I don't know if you realize it. And I mean, I think I realize it because I thought really long and hard about this format and how to make it very enjoyable for the anglers and easy and fun and educational. And they were like, man, we've never had more fun, like with the whole structure of the whole thing, from the Wednesday optional welcome dinner to the Thursday opening ceremonies at a brewery and restaurant, and then no pre-fishing allowed on Friday because we start on Friday afternoon. So we get to everyone. It's like a load off their shoulders. We hang out, we have drinks, food until they feel like quitting, on Thursday night. Cause they just gotta they get to sleep in until 9:30 or 10 when they want to show up to the Bash You brunch breakfast, which is optional. But they learn from Dr. Mudbug, like a fisheries biologist that is expertise is the crawfish at this. So we have a seminar by a pro at every, you've been some. So Bash You brunch on Friday mornings, and it lets the fish rest. I mean, that's what Major League Fishing and Elite Series usually try to do, have one off day, So we don't have a complete off day, but it's, 3/4 of a day or something like that till 3 p.m. when they start. So they have the breakfast and brunch, and they do the fishing they love this Friday fishing because you're not driving somewhere, getting up early in the morning, driving somewhere like an hour or 2 hours, in the dark, cold. It's just like, you're just like, oh, cool. It's 2:00. I'm driving to my ramp, and I get a fish on a weekday in the afternoon and get an evening bite. And, there's not a lot of other public out there on the water. So they've been loving that. So anyway, they just seem to really like the format. And then they didn't say people messed up on Friday. They said, man, that was not it. Like, but we have been given a $250 bonus for the Friday leader, but because it's a 5 fish limit total.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Fish say, hey, I'm not out of it yet. I can go fix my error. Whatever I made a mistake on, I can go on Saturday, get 5 good ones, win the whole thing.
Yep.
Or switch to the micro.
Has that happened, Drew? Has that happened? Is that something that happens often?
That happens. It does happen. Well, either that happens, either they had a bad day, or they eventually call out all their Friday fish, which made their Friday fish irrelevant. So my point is, even if you can't make Friday, there's something called the Day 2 Dark Horse presented by Dark Horse Tackle. It's like a prize that we offer them, right? So it's the angler who moves up the most spots from day 1 to day 2. So if you have 0 on day 1, whether you couldn't fish or you just didn't have a good day, you move up the most spots, you have the better chance to move up the most spots. So lots of extra cool prizes they're getting. And actually this last event, Josiah Bahari and Clayton Carter from Ohio, Josiah was in second place, had a really good, after day 1, had a really good spot. So he just told his partner, hey, come over here. And they ended up getting like second or third, I can't remember, in the team division, because again, it was just 5 fish each, right? So together for the 10 for the team. So it kind of worked out. They corrected an error. They made a mistake. So it's really good. And, we're giving away a lot of extra money, extra bonus money, spreading it out. We're paying out 25% of the field. The top 20% is cash. Then the other 5 get Guardian Angel $200 light kits. So we're basically paying out 25% of the field. And this year, we're paying out 100% cash, and actually over 100% at some events. We're paying 200% when you count the prizes. Like the raffle kayak we gave away at this event was $3,600.
What kayak was it?
PDL 120 Pro.
Old Town. Right on.
Yeah, Old Town PDL 120 Pro. So
I have that
Old
kayak.
Town they didn't have to give us the most, like, one of their most expensive kayaks, but raising money for the ACA this year, the American Canoe Association. So anyway, paying out 100% cash, 200% if you count the prizes, because you guys all get those $100 gift bags just for being the first 50 to sign up. And the anglers are starting to love it, because there's this one thing called Unhooked by D Hooker. Have you seen this yet? We if you send us a cool video of you losing a fish, we all lose fish in a tournament, right? But now you get something for it. The best lost fish video, which is usually like a really good jump, a big fish, it comes off, and the angler is just like,
shoots the lure past your face.
And they're like just so frustrated. I can actually share. I mean, it's a StreamYard. I can share my screen and show you a good one from the event if you guys want. But because I got all you guys who've been submitting footage, videos up here.
This is what's fun about Drew event, right? So if you're fishing that day before, he has drones out there and he's getting this footage, and he actually shows it at the at his award ceremony, which is kind of nice.
So I wonder if I put it in here. So there's a lot of good nominees if this Unhooked. One of my favorites, though, if I have it here,
we always misery loves company. I just lost a nice one yesterday, so I want to see other people lose it. Make me feel
all right. Well, here's some good ones then. Can you guys see that pretty good?
Oh yeah, I can see it good.
So,
the spinning reel.
Yeah. We had like 6 lady anglers in this tournament, 5 or 6.
Nice.
Oh, get over here.
Oh no. It's like she had her net out and everything.
She was.
It doesn't look like it. The angle's weird.
She was like, I don't know if I got that. The angle's weird. She got it. And then let's do another one here. Hang on.
All right. It's good to know it's not just me.
Not just you. Not just you. All of us here. I want to show. Hang on. Let me find the right folder again. It's on the water, I guess. Here we go.
Yes,
Unhooked. They are fun to watch. So this was a good one too. So we have a tough decision to make. This was a good one.
It's on the river. All right.
On the river.
Oh, got it.
Nice smallie and out of the
me.
net.
The net.
Hole in that net? Looks like there's a hole in that net.
Yeah, that was a bummer, man.
It looks like he.
I don't think it was on
right through his net.
The spray bill nets, and I don't think it flipped out, and then it jumped right over his net. I don't think the net was.
No,
yeah, it wasn't
right
flipped
over.
out.
You're kidding me.
So that was a pretty good one.
How many curse words do you hear in these videos? So far,
there's definitely quite a few.
The bigger the bass,
I wanted to get
more curse
this
words.
one. You never know. We just watch the videos. You never know what's gonna happen. I was gonna find there's a really good one from Josiah.
There we go.
Shot it right back in
Well,
the face.
there's a curse word on that one. But
everyone listening in, they're like, you can just imagine. You hear it. You hear what's happening. Just lures flying by people's faces.
Yeah.
Fish jumping over nets.
But I will show a.
What's up, bass?
Josiah loses a big one, dude. He loses a real big one. That's why I was trying to find his, if I can, but I don't know. This is it? No, this isn't. That's probably the one we just saw. I may have moved it somewhere else. I don't know where it's at, but
you need to make like a compilation, Drew.
Oh yeah, we will. We have highlight reels we make at the end. Once we get all these videos together, we do make highlight reels. This is Josiah. He was a high school angler who got second in this tournament.
There's no way he lost that fish. That hook set was massive.
This one is good. I think this one comes in the boat. Yeah, this is a big one that comes in the boat.
There's no way he left that.
Oh, I thought it was bigger than that.
But the one he loses, if I could ever find it, is on a mag draft. So you never would have thought, and he sets a hook good.
Really?
That one up.
And that one even has. Yeah, you don't lose too many on the mag draft because it has that through line.
Yeah, that one just exactly. You would think they wouldn't come off. But there's some good videos that they were sending us all throughout the tournament. I mean, it's getting better and better. It might have been, this might be it. I might have put it in the wrong spot. Anglers are getting better and better. Yeah, this might be it. He's out in kind of in the middle.
Got him.
That's a good hook set too, man.
Maybe, yeah.
It wasn't like it took him by surprise.
Oh, please be big. Please be big.
It wasn't who knows, man. Sometimes they just come off, dude. Sometimes they just
come off. You just don't get them right. I mean, it's just that's a big fish.
Upgrade. Oh my gosh, it's huge. It's huge. Please stay on. Please stay on. Please stay on.
Oh, that one stays on. This is the one that stays on, the big one. This is his big one that stays on.
There we go.
Let's go.
It's the emotion. So this is
you gotta look around and like, I don't want to say too loud because I don't have a bunch of neighbors that I don't want.
Let's go to 20 inches.
Exactly.
Let's go.
I love it. You ever have that happen to you? You get all excited and before you know it, you got 3 or 4 buddies.
Oh yeah. And the next thing you know, everyone's showed up. This is a cool clip that someone submitted of them bed fishing, catching a bedfish. We love this one. Just one single uncut clip. This could possibly win the Angler's Cut. We'll see. Angler's Cut's an extra $1,000 they get, $500 in cash and a brand new GoPro. Here you go. She bit. He's got him.
So for you listening in, I mean, that kayak was almost over top that bed. That was crazy.
Yeah, he was really right on it.
He was like on it. I'm talking 5 feet away.
Seriously. You can hear breathing heavy.
It looks like he's got a TRD. If I got a good peek at that lure.
Might have been.
Because you guys, I remember when I was at the Springfield one, you guys gave away the Fatty Z from Z-Man. That's what it looked like, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions over here before we keep on moving on. They're coming in from the comment section. We got Fish in the Sticks saying, hey, I'm going to check out that Wisconsin event. That's loving. And he's got a question for you, Drew. Can you use Insta360 footage or is it strictly GoPro?
Yeah.
Explain anything. I know the answer to this, but explain.
Yeah, use anything, man. Action camera, you can use whatever you want. But for the GoPro Angler's Cut, it's like the $1,000 bonus. Think about it like Toyota bonus bucks. Only Toyota owners can win the Toyota bonus bucks. The GoPro Angler's Cut bonus, $1,000, that has to be filmed with a GoPro any year, any model, it doesn't matter. But for the tournament itself, for everything else, you just get out there and film with whatever you got. Insta360, DJI, GoPro, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. we want the footage, we'll show it. If you lose the fish, that every other bonus we have or whatnot that's video related. It could be anything. Just the GoPro angler's cut is the only one that has to be GoPro. So
yeah. But there's like 1,000,001 ways to win. If you've never been over the Kayak Adventure Series website, head over there and you can see there's a long litany of ways that you can win by doing this and doing that and using this and having that. And so Drew's done a really good job of putting that all together. Bass AF 817's got a question for you. Texas Kayak Adventure
I mean, we did
Series?
one there. We did one there, and everyone's kind of said that we didn't give it a fair shot. I'm not saying we'll go back to Texas, but the time we went there, it was on the back end of the Classic. So we thought, well, people are already there for the Bassmaster Kayak Championship and the Classic. Let's do it on that weekend, right? So we did it there, and we I don't know if we had maybe 50 people show up, but we'll go back at some point. Just to we move around. So we have 6 events a year. We move around all over the country, but we also kind of have some areas that are just really showing out that we kind of have to go to those regions. You know what I mean? Because they're just really supporting us well. So, Texas will be in the rotation. I guarantee you that. We will be back. We went to Lake Bodark. I thought that was going to be really cool too.
Yeah.
Because it was basically the first year that lake was open, and they were catching double-digit fish out of it that first year.
Oh wow.
So because it'd been closed, for a while as it filled, and they stocked some big ones in there, fingerlings, and they grew pretty fit. They grow fast there. So, but yeah, we'll go back for sure.
I like it.
Send us some suggestions. Go with the KS.
There you go. Throw in the comment section. Where do you want to see
lakes?
the next KS? What lakes? Let us know. We'll read them off here in just a minute. Drew,
lakes and rivers. We should specify that our format. That's what's unique and different is we let you fish within usually about 45 minutes, maybe as far as an hour from our host city. Where we hold our awards at this cool like theater. So basically, from the theater, you get like that distance away, and we generally include all the public lakes, ponds, rivers, creeks. So you kind of have a new puzzle, a new mystery that's very kayak fishing friendly. You know what I mean? Like these are places, a lot of them that bass boats can't get into. And some tournaments are won on the big lake in that, the biggest lake in our boundary, and some are won
on the rivers
in a
it's
river or
last
creek
year.
or a small pond.
I thought for sure it was going to be caught off of Alum Creek or something like that. Or what's the other popular one there? It was one on the rivers.
It was.
And so made it happen. Bass Thumb AI is over here in the comment section. Going to be at the Juniata event. This will be my first tournament. Can't wait. And if you haven't seen that, I had Bass Thumb on the podcast about 3 weeks ago. If you missed that, you have to go watch it. This guy has something that's pretty unique out there using AI to help you individually. They're not sharing information. And right now, I think it's still free. So go get that while it's still free before he starts charging for that juice. Anyways, what else we got here?
I'd love to see you, man. That's exciting. Welcome to KS. When you get there, come see me.
I love it. Get USA Kayak Fishing Magazine over here. Hello, fellas. Roy must have just finished up his own podcast.
What's up, Roy?
And hopped over here. He had Matt Olevitz on. I need to have him back on the show as well.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Drew. What else have we got? What's the next event coming up for the KS?
So we've got the New River Revival. This one's going to be awesome, man. I mean, it's in May. We're talking May fishing tonight. Anyway, it's perfect. It's May 15th and 16th, Friday and Saturday, and it is going to be just unreal. That is the time to be there. The water is great right now. It's actually a little bit low for this time of year. So we know it's going to be, unless they get some insane, rain, it's going to be fine. Although we do have a couple lakes in bounds, but again, this is more of a river-focused event. I don't think you're going to want to be on those lakes when this river is on
fire.
It's beautiful if you've never been there. And this is the best section. We've got Pulaski County as our host city, and it's a county also. It's right on Claytor Lake, basically. So we let fish downstream of Claytor Lake, which is north, which is why I'm going up with my hand, and then upstream of Claytor Lake, which is south. Basically, you get all the way from essentially the North Carolina border and the West Virginia border, and that little sliver of Virginia. It is like the best entire section of the New River there is. And they are 21, 22 inches in there. You just got to find them, but they're in there, and it's going to be an incredible event. We might see Century Belt or close to it with smallmouth, although we've seen that, before in KS in Upper Mississippi. And Alex had 106 inches of smallmouth at Broodstock.
They freaking gone.
So
He
yeah,
needs to calm down.
Century boat with that one.
That's awesome. All right, so let's kind of use that as a segue, and of course, you can if something reminds you, obviously, this is your world, this Kayak Adventure Series and fishing and all that stuff. So, use that as a segue to hop into some May bass fishing. I know some of you guys hopped on, and we're gonna peel back the layers of the onion. I just got some questions for you, and Drew, I know you can just rip because you have such a wealth of knowledge here. So, when you think about May bass fishing, let's just go the mistake route. What is the biggest mistake you see anglers making right out of the gate?
Well, I think it's that they just want to already just say that the spawn's over and just tell their brains this is what the fish should be doing, and but the reality is May is it could be anything, like you said when you introed the show. So you got to go in there with an open mind. But if you're talking a tournament, which I don't know if we're talking tournament or not, but either way, I guess it doesn't matter. If you go out and you're fun fishing, you want to catch the most and biggest fish too, right? You want to catch as many as you can and as big ones. So I guess it's the same. But basically, when you get out there in May, it's more like, what do you want to do? Would you prefer do you like catching fish off bed? Do you not like catching fish off bed? Do you like catching fish that are pre-spawn those? And we'll explain them. But I prefer in a tournament, especially if I can find some fish on bed, that's great because I know where they are. They're not going anywhere if they're locked on bed. Right. But if you find the areas of the lake that are the cooler water, the coolest areas, they'll generally still be spawning in May. I've caught fish in May and mid-May in middle Georgia. So mid-May in middle Georgia. Actually, Chad was with me on that trip. It was a 14-incher. It wasn't some big fish, and it was on a river down in middle Georgia. We were filming, and it was like late May, and that's that part of the country. So you can imagine you can still find them on bed in Georgia, in the middle of Georgia, not even the upper in the mountains where it's cooler, clear and cool lakes. You could find them. So don't forget they might still be on bed. And then the other thing I would say, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that fry guarding bass, that's more likely what you're going to see. If you see anything related to the spawn, it's going to be fry guarders. Okay. Fry guarding bass, when they see you, it's over. It's over, dude. So here's what the mistake they make in May. You need to make long casts. If you don't know what's there, make a super long cast. The water's getting lower and clear, because a fry garter will just chase something down and shoo it away. And of course, they try to shoo it away. You have got hooks. Hopefully, you hook them, or they might even be already where they want to eat it. Even if they're hungry, they can still. You can fry guard pretty good if you just eat the whole bluegill. Yeah, how are they going to get your fry, right?
Problem solved.
So, So in the clear of the water, these long casts will really help you catch the fry guarders, because some people want to stand up and look, and they're like, oh, I'm going to sight fish and I'm going to see the ones that are on the beds. But once they fry guard, they're hard to catch but when you see one that's fry guarding, just move on, go back in an hour or two, go way far away, or go back the next day in the tournament. If it's pre-fishing, to make a long cast, bring that, whatever you're going to throw, maybe throw a Z-Man, jerk shad or something, just twitching it right across the area it is and scurrying it across, or a chatterbait, a lighter chatterbait. Again, you want to kind of, if there's vegetation or anything which can build up, you want to maybe go, and I'm assuming it's shallow. We're talking a bed. So I'm saying throw a 3/8 ounce chatterbait, and just kind of burn it by. Throw a treble hook lure, because if they're going to swipe at it, I'm not a big fan of treble hook lures, but if it's clear and open right there, if they're going to swipe at it, you're at least going to get them. It might be challenging to get them in if they just nipped at it and they didn't get it good, but at least you got them and you got a chance. So
I got to share a story real fast before we move on. Exactly what we're talking about right now. I was fishing down in Southern Ohio, adventure fishing. So I was dragging my kayak up freaking mountains, and it was I'm still hurting from that trip. And I found this little pond, and I'm not kidding you, Drew. It had 15, 20 plusers in it. It wasn't that big. And I noticed they're fry garden. And so I did exactly what you said. I was like, okay, you see them and you're like, oh, I'm just going to throw it next to them. They don't want nothing. You just because and it's maddening because you see it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that because I see him and it's massive. It's a huge fish. And so of course I did the circle of the lake and I caught 120 on the swim jig. So I was like, oh, all that's in here is freaking bluegill. And so long as I could freaking cast it, and boom, it hit right as it went in the water. And I hooked up with the second one, but he spit me free. And it was the one that I circled back on. It took me 30 minutes for him to reset, and threw it out where I knew he was kind of circling, because I can kind of see the fry. I mean, they're tiny right now, like uber tiny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's exactly what happened. So you were spot on, and I'm a testament to that. It just happened last week.
Yeah, man, that's cool, man. No, it's a great story. It fits in perfectly. The other thing I was going to say is just in general, you have to be, as an angler, understand how to assess if the mood that the bass is in when related to the spawn. Like, you got to understand, like, can you tell, and how quickly can you tell, is that fish locked onto a bed and like spawning still, or is not going to leave and it's going to stay there, and you can catch it within what that video we just saw, right? He's right there on top of that fish. This is in upper Indiana, right? Northern Indiana. So they are locked on right now. Upper Indiana will be, they come in waves. So they will be for, another few weeks, I'm sure. But that guy knew this fish ain't going anywhere. This isn't like a fry gar. He's got to be way back off. So you got to assess what the fish is doing in relation to the spawn. And then to kick in another gear, I noticed somebody said they're from Burlington, Iowa. There's people that are watching from all different parts of the country. So if you're further up north, shout out there to Iowa guy. But if you're further up north, there's still fish that are pre-spawn even. I mean, there's still fish here in Ohio.
100%. They're pre-spawn right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the cooler water. And sometimes in the rivers, they'll wait a little bit for the levels to come down. I mean, even on Chickamauga, before they go to summer pool down in Tennessee, the fish know they'll spawn once it fills up, and they know that's just time to go. So you can still chase those down. I love a pre-spawn bite because they're super fat. They're super hungry. We don't go by weight, but if you're in a weight tournament, it definitely can gain you a little bit if you're
100%
targeting pre-spawners. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Whew. So biggest mistakes you would say people just have in their mind what the bass are doing.
Yeah.
But maybe not 100% realizing that it could be all three, depending on what body of water you're on.
Yep.
And
the other thing
that way.
Yep, exactly. The other thing I would say is a big mistake is, I mean, it's not like a mistake. I just don't think people realize, because of live scope and technology and fishing out in the middle and open water is such a thing now, because they're always, we've kind of learned bass are kind of everywhere. There's a population that's always going to be out deep and always going to be shallow. But I would say, from my experience even recently on Caddo, which is southern, so even though I was there like a few days ago, fishing the Bassmaster tournament, that's probably fishing more like May. You know what I mean? For them down that far south, that's like most of the country's May. Well, as pollen and wind blows and vegetation starts to get on the surface and things start to, mat up, the bass will get shallower than you realize, like big ones even. And I only had one day of practice, like 4 hours. So, I mean, I got 36th place. It's funny. I've flown into my first two Bassmaster events, and both of them I've gotten 36th place. But this one was out of 211 and the other one was Kissimmee. But anyway,
like virtually nil on pre-fishing. You're just flying in fishing these things.
Yeah, I'm just flying in basically. For the championship, I had a little bit. That one I got 20 something place, just missed a check. I was like 20 something. But anyway, it's hard to, without the pre-fishing I can tell it's affected me a little bit this year. Last year, I won Havasu and did pretty good. They ended up third in AOI with doing the same strategy. But honestly, I found the fish. I had a flight to catch. I had to leave 45 minutes early from the tournament. So I had a flight to catch. So that kind of hurt. I finally figured out what they are, which brings me back to what I was saying. Like, bass are way shallower than you realize. So hitting the bank with your bait, even when you don't, as long as there's just a little bit of this, even in Indiana where we just were, there's this like stuff that this algae and just kind of stuff starts to grow in these lakes that have vegetation or whatever. They'll be under anything. And literally I was catching 18-inch fish. Again, I wasn't on like winning fish, but I know that there were some bigger ones around also doing the same thing, that they're hiding. They were in 8 to 10 inches of water. I'm not kidding you. Their backs are out of the water, but little vegetation's covering them up.
My buddy saw him on a bed because the fin was out of the water. It's like I saw the fin and then I saw the shadow and he freaking throw a Yamatanuki 2 inches, probably a foot in front of his mouth, and boom, nailed it. 18. Yeah, they're
it's fun. The bite is so fun because you see them waking because they come out from underneath whatever the little thing they were hiding on, super shallow, and they wake it, and it's just fun to anticipate that bite. And one thing I would just say that kind of helps us learn about May, there's an M with May. I like to do alliteration so things like make sense, but May for me is like moving baits. So moving bait May, or May for moving baits, however you want to remember it. You can probably come up with the best way to do it, order that. But they move for stuff in May. The water's warmed up everywhere to the point where a cold-blooded creature like that, it's not true in April, but by the time you get to May, water temperature doesn't matter anymore because there's like this zone, kind of like us, right? I think everybody's happy 65 to like, high 78, 80 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone's pretty darn comfortable. No one's like, oh, freaking out. I got to go under a tree and get shade, or, oh, I got to get warm. It's too cold at 65. There's a zone where bass are the same thing we are. They're just like, it's all good for them.
Game
and
on.
I think it's 60
Slow,
to like 80 degrees, 60
fast,
to 80 probably.
Slow, medium, doesn't matter. I'm eating it.
Yeah, exactly. But you can move now. It's the point where it's warm enough everywhere in the water, everywhere in the lake, in the rivers is warm enough where you can move it. So, moving bait May, you can crank it and go fast and cover water. And that's kind of what I was doing there on Caddo to kind of eventually find them that last day when I was kind of just pre-fishing my way around that second day of the tournament. But they, Lake Fork the year before we were, again, was a championship in March, but just, it still speaks to the point. Dude, they were so, even already in March, we had that warm championship for Bassmaster last year. They were so shallow, even big ones. So just don't forget how shallow they get. You don't think they're there because you can see in the water and you can see there's not fish there. But if there's anything that's big enough for them to hide under or around,
it doesn't take
that's
much.
where they sit. And then you throw something, and if you don't see a weight coming after it and you're fishing water that's that shallow, bring it in and move a little bit, make another cast. And then if you don't see something waking it, bring it in. And because they're not going to be on every cast, right? It's just like every cast you make in 10 feet deep. They're not everywhere. So you just feel like they're not there, but they're there. They're super shallow. So
they're there. Especially what I love, and I find them all the time. It's almost like people don't even fish it, but all those, like, whenever the wind's blowing and it pulls all the junk of the lake to a corner, and there only be like a 2 or 3 feet, like the reeds and all the junk's on top. There's almost always something under that. Almost always. I love it. Stinky River Tom, thank you so much, brother. Thank you for the super chat here. Appreciate you. Let me see. What was this question?
There's Fishing with Gramps. What's up, JT? He was at our event as well. So
Stinky River said, almost went into the drink, tripping on the transducer cord for the Striker 4 on the new Canoe U10. Any tips to keep those cords under control? Let me see. I usually zip tie mine, hide all mine in the bow, but I've seen guys wrap them on the transducer if they have like one going over the side, but I would imagine that's a transducer puck on the bottom. So I don't know. If you guys got any ideas for Stinky River, go and throw those in the comment section. Fishing with Gramps, I'm not going to lie, brother. So good to be seeing you pulling fish out of the water. So I've been loving seeing that, loving seeing you back active, catching pike, catching bass. You're the freaking man. You're the man. All right.
Yeah. More May stuff. I got more. If we
go.
Bring in chat comments if people have questions. But I was going to say my next thing in May you guys start thinking about is, especially the further south you go, right at the beginning of May, you're starting to get into like a lot of more bugs and hatches, and your frogs are more alive. You got even our guest speaker, Dr. Mudbug, Reed Morehouse was talking about how crawfish, even still up in like Indiana, they're not even out yet. They're not like out and active, but by the time May hits, your amphibians, your snakes, your lizards, everything else, and your hatches, your mayflies, and everything else start hatching. So that's the other reason why I'm telling you they're so shallow, because they're waiting for these frogs to jump in. They're waiting for it. They haven't had a chance to eat frogs all year. They're finally, again, remember guys, we're talking about the whole country here. So obviously frogs have been out in, March further down south, but in general, you're just getting to that point where everything else is coming alive, the hatches. So you'll get in clear water. May's pretty cool too. You can find, generally start to find like clear water, and you can probably find murky water in that same fishery. You know what I mean? It's not like it's summer where everything's just crystal clear yet. You still have enough rain, and there's not quite enough evaporation where you got good flows coming in from rivers. You got fish that start to, after they spawn, the ones that aren't resident river fish, you do have some fish that want to start exploring and just feeding their way wherever their life takes them. Some of them start heading up some rivers. Even that time of year, if they're lake fish that are right close to a river, they might start doing that. But anyway, yeah, just they're just shallow also to which brings me to just saying, hey, May is for topwater. It's for moving baits, but it's also just like insane, probably the best. That's why the new river for KS, I think topwater is going to be just like ridiculous. But I think topwater is on fire in May, so stick to it. It's a great way to catch a huge fish because they can't see your line. You can throw 50-pound braid. They don't see it. It calls them up, big buzz bait, big, plopper, chopo, spinning image, something that just like makes a ton of noise, a spook. And it's just a lot of huge fish are caught on top water in May because they're feeding up if they are post spawn, feeding up heavily. So I'm telling you, my favorite bait has got to be that jerk shad from Z-Man. Put it on one of those ZWG hooks they have, and just burn it across the surface. And, 1/8 ounce weight because it Last floats. Chunk it out there and just burn it across the surface. And if there is vegetation, the beauty of that bait and why I think it's so much better. Not only just because not as many people throw it, it just gives you that darting action. It's erratic. It's not normal. Just buzzbait and Chapo is the same, like blah 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 blah. It's the same straight line action. This thing gives it that erratic, like sort of
the jerk shad.
The jerk shad, yeah, because you're twitching.
Bring it up here so everyone can see it.
It's like a fluke style bait, a soft plastic. But basically, if you can get that, you put it like a 1/8 ounce weight on it, and again, it basically floats because the Elastec is buoyant. So, which is the beauty of the Z-Man stuff is you can add weight to it, and it's because it neutralizes it. You can throw more stuff on a bait caster with their stuff than you can, which is good because now you got your bigger line, your heavier line, and you can just you chunk that out there. This is for smallmouth or largemouth, and you hold your rod up and start popping it and swimming it as it slithers across the surface like a spook on the surface. But then the beauty of it is when you start to get into places with vegetation, you can bury the hook and it comes through it like ease. And then if it gets snagged or kind of hung up on something, all you're doing is popping it for action anyway. So all you do is just pop it and rip it harder. And that's the action that you're supposed to give that bait anyway. So it clears the bait off of or the weeds off the bait, but it also gives it the action and triggers a bite. So, and you could skip it. It was so easy wherever you want underneath any brush. And it's like the 7-inch, and they just came out with a 6-inch too. But
yeah, they make a 3, 3.5, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Which ones are the ones you like? 7?
I like the 7. I mostly only use the 7, but I also throw those other ones back on the back of chatterbaits when I don't want to boot style. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've used them all at different points. If you get in the fall, you might want to get the smaller one. If you got the small shad in the fall, clear water, just a little bit more stealthy. You can put them on the back of buzz baits as a trailer. I love that as well. So, yeah, they're super versatile. But with the way I'm working it now, I want to call big fish up. So I like the 7-inch size. And smallmouth, the way it folds, since it's all just, there's no, it's not like it's a line through. It's got anything inside. It just folds. So they just get the hook. So even smallmouth, it's great because it calls out the big ones and it just folds right in their mouth.
Makes it easy to get
and
that.
You can boat flip them in. You got 30-pound braid on a, straight braid on a bait caster's favorite way to fish. You can rip them out of vegetation. It's awesome. You can let it sink and go slow with it by, cypress trees. You want to let it just swirl and zigzag. If you want to stop it, kill it when you see them waking it. You want to kill it, let it kind of swirl and then just die. They eat it, and then it's game over.
Yeah, so. Utopia Outdoorsman said, I had success fishing those jerk shads in heavy cover last summer. Good bait, 100%. All right, folks, if you've had a question for Drew about May bass, really about anything, I'll go ahead and ask him. Go ahead and throw that into the comment section. We'll get back around to that. Also, if you have not yet done so, please hit that like button. Helps get the show a little bit of juice when it's all said and done. The algorithm likes that. It likes a lot. Also, I don't share this very often, but if you haven't done so yet, head over to Apple or Spotify and rate the podcast, right? And so I have a lot of great ratings. However, I get some goofballs who are like, hey, there's a click in my audio. 1 star. It's like, you think it might have been your computer, maybe not the podcast? I don't know. Pretty crazy. But every once in a while, I get those 1 star, 0 stars. And it takes a whole lot of positive reviews to keep that up there. Got some questions over here from Midwest Kayak Co. What color chatterbaits is your favorite for May?
Oh, dude, I'm glad he asked this question because generally I only throw a couple colors of chatterbaits, but I want to have this. I don't have the skirt on this one. I wish I did, but I want to have the bluegill color, and then like a murky water. I like to throw something like this. It's like white and chartreuse, basically. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's got a jerk shad on the back of it right here. But the bluegill is the one that I don't have the skirt on this one. I could see one later on. I'd show it to you, but this is the head of it. But anyway, the bluegill color, the bluegill pattern is probably my favorite because the water, that's basically what I use in clear water everywhere. If it's clear, I go bluegill. Mm-hmm. If has some stain to it, I like that white and chartreuse kind of action. There may be one other color I use sometime, but basically that's it. I mean, maybe I use that golden shiner sometimes, but
What type of chatterbait are those?
I like the I mean, gosh, I use them all, but that new Elite Evo is good.
Yep.
It to me, you can go tungsten, you could do the one without tungsten. I know they're discontinuing the tungsten one, so
How
but
come?
to me, I know was like, I mean, yeah, they're discontinuing it. I don't know if you know that or not.
I do now, but you know why?
Yeah. The price of tungsten has gone up over the world like insanely.
Yeah, but people will
So
pay
it doesn't make it does you're not going to pay the price they have to charge to sell it. You're not
You'd
going to
be
pay it. No one's
surprised
gonna
what I
pay
would
it.
pay
Well, that's true.
for
But
fishing gear.
but there's why.
Wyatt, what's up, brother?
Is he frozen?
He's at Relaxed Retreat right now, and they have zero internet. So he's like, I'm going to try it, and we will see. And I could tell by how he's gone.
Well, he'll come in here if he gets in here. Cool, whatever. You know, I'm sure he's busy winning something or trying to put his trophy somewhere. He's on a roll. He's on a tear as of late. So good for Wyatt.
Yeah. Well, really quick. So we have a thing, Drew, going on because Wyatt has a job, but he's never there because he's always fishing and he's always calling off. And so every week we do a segment called "Does Wyatt Still Have a Job?" And I don't know how he still has a job, but I'm not entirely sure. Someone says tungsten's up 300%. That is wild.
Okay, see, that's why.
Yeah, we haven't discussed if he has a job. I don't know. Wyatt actually called me today. He was on Santee and he was telling me his fishing adventures. He said he caught a 21s and 18s and 19s, and he said he lost a couple donkeys punching. And he said he had one. And you guys if you were punched before, he went to set the hook and it like sprained his wrist because it was so big, where it pulls back and you weren't expecting it. And unfortunately, he didn't land it. But he's like, my wrist still hurts from that hook set punching.
Wow,
so I don't know.
Sounds like a log to me, Wyatt. Sounds like a log.
I love that beat where it says the 10-pounder I lost. It's like 100 lures in this giant log under there.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's what it is. But I will say that's the one to use. Just the Evo is great because here's the thing, man. So when they came out of the tungsten, everyone's like, "Whoa, tungsten!" And I'm sure they're like, "You can feel it better." And I'm thinking, have you ever not felt a chatterbait?
No,
I think I feel a chatterbait every time. And they're like, "Yeah, but it's a different sound." And I'm like, "Well, I would buy that argument if we knew that the different sound it made somehow could prove that that's the sound they like better for some reason. Like, what makes you think? What if they like that sound worse? What if that sound doesn't? I mean, everyone's just trying to make all this stuff. It's like about why. I'm like, I don't think they care. I think they like them both. I think it doesn't really matter. I think you're not trying to get ahead. You're not trying to get a lead head bait smaller, the lead smaller in a bait. It doesn't really do you a lot of good on a chatterbait because the profile of a fish is obviously much bigger than this teeny little head. So why are we trying to get it smaller? Sure. If anything, you should be arguing it should be getting bigger with using a 10 or something else like some other material because then you can make it like bigger and the profile is more of the size. So anyway, I don't think it matters personally too
like
much.
For like a Texas ray or something like that.
Yeah. If you want a smaller,
you're
right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure it really matters for a chatterbait, but either way, they stock up on them now. If you didn't know, they're going away, I think. But they might be back. Who knows?
Ebb and flows of tungsten. I guess I don't buy a lot of tungsten. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Steven Surgeon said Wyatt was sitting in the dark. Maybe Wyatt doesn't have a job. I honestly don't know. I didn't ask him today, but it's one of those things. I'm sure you would make his wildest dreams come true if you fired him, whoever he works for, which he hasn't shared, so I'm not going to share it yet. All right, what else do we have here? We got a bunch of comments over here. Wolf's over here. Wolf said,
now, mind you, I bought like 20 of those tungsten ones to eBay resale for millions down the line. That's a good comment.
Look at these two handsome gentlemen.
He bought them to resell. Did you guys ever see the Office episode where Dwight Schrute has that Christmas toy? He bought them all so that they would be out of stock, and then he's meeting up with people and selling them for like a giant profit because he knew it was the one. Anyway, Wolf his 9:16 comment is the one that reminds me of that one. 9:16 p.m. there, where he bought 20 of them to sell on eBay.
There you go. Makes sense. Makes sense.
It does.
All right, we got some questions over here. Hey, fellas, just bought a PDL 106 as my first fishing kayak. I bought most of the relevant upgrades from Navarre. Any tips for river fishing out of it? I'm on the, I don't know how to say that. Monongahela. How do you say that, Drew?
Monongahela.
Monongahela.
I mean,
there we go.
The good news about a PDL, you've got depth in that river pretty good, unless you're way upstream. So that pedal drive is good. And what I would say about that is obviously it's going to help you fish upstream pretty good. That's when I have a motor on, the river kayak, like the Shoaly that I use, torpedo on the back. I go upstream and fish my way that way. It's just a little bit better to just hold yourself with the current. It's a little easier to control than going downstream. Now, when I don't have a motor, I just want to do a float trip. Then I take the kayak that's stripped down. It's bare bones, lightweight, easy, but to hold your position. So go upstream, and you have a 106. So that's a 10-foot 6 boat, I assume, right? So the biggest tip I would give you is just try to find some public access points that aren't the boat ramps. Like, that's why you got a kayak, man. That's that small. Don't put in at the boat ramp, because by the time everyone's fishing the most around that a couple miles from that boat ramp, is probably getting pounded the most there than anywhere else. So go find somewhere that you could go upstream, find a creek. Another good May point, by the way, creek mouths. The good news about May is you still have a lot of rain, happening in April and May. So you got these dual water clarities and colors happening all the time. It was big in our Indiana event here for Kayak Adventure Series. There were some muddy creeks coming in, and some places the smaller creeks clear up faster, so they're clear, and some of the bigger rivers are still muddy. So you might have clear water coming into muddy, or you might have muddy water coming into clear. But either way, those color changes in May are, Mudline May. That's another thing for May. Mudline May.
Look at you. What kind of alliterations?
So yes, I'm trying to
moving bait May, Mudline May. What else you got? Drew?
So yeah. We'll think of something else, but that's my suggestion. So if you can find an area that's got some creeks that are coming in, put in somewhere that's not a boat ramp, and then go upstream, you'll probably and fish super shallow. You'll probably eventually find them, because if they're spawning, they're up shallow, and if they just finish spawning, the fry guarding, they're shallow. They're just all shallow. I mean, a lot of fish in May are shallow until they move back out in some of the other lakes. But you're in a river, so they're mostly all can be kind of on the banks right now.
I got like
not
3
too far
questions
from me, by the way,
coming from the comment section. So this is what I love about having a live show, and I don't love just like running off the show and just ignoring everybody who's listening in. So we got a lot of questions over here. I'm gonna get to them. Charlie Sanders Fishing question. Drew, you're gonna love this. How do you stay confident in keeping it simple, shallow water fishing? Drew's like, that's where I feel confident.
It is tough. I'll say this. This is an individual sport. If you go back and you look at everybody's results, you see them and hear about them when they pop, when they're like, oh, they won, or they're up in the top 10, but you don't really go and look. But it's just like, fishing's just tough in general. Like, no matter what, it's tough. And you have to remember that and stay mentally like in the game of fishing, because even for the best anglers, it's super tough. I mean, I can tell you tournaments this year that just barely squeak. Kissimmee was tough, barely squeaked limits out there, or even on second, they didn't even have a limit. Still finished 36 because that was so tough. But anyway, point is, but fishing super shallow, it's one of those things where they're there, and that a lot of the pressure these days is with the electronics is going offshore ways. You don't use that technology that shallow, how shallow I'm fishing. And you can't use live scope very well that shallow, because they're also hiding under and behind stuff that the scope would never show. You can't always see it if they're behind and under stuff that well in thick vegetation. So I have a little bit of confidence just thinking, you know what, it's not getting as pressured as much as it even used to. Right. So, but I also know that the places I like to fish, that people kind of, this mythical lore or whatever, like Drew goes in all these crazy places, and I do. But the thing is, I go and explore them, whether it's practice or just I don't really get a lot of practice these days, but in the past, when I go explore, the bummer is they don't all just have magical, like, giant fish that just win tournaments. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
That you go there. I went there actually on Caddo and pre-fished one area that I'd done pretty good in the past at, and it was kind of this super out of the way. I don't think anybody else has really ever been there. But it was horrible, dude, like horrible. So they're not everywhere, but what keeps me confident, back to this question, is the fact that I eventually, you stumble on enough of these places that are magical, that are less pressured. You have them to yourself. And I just want to find something in a tournament that no one else is on, even if it's not winning spot per se. I'd much rather be alone, catching fish that are just unpressured, just in the, peace and quiet by myself, and be able to take my own time and pace in that area and still be able to, maybe still have enough fish to catch a check, or it's good. Maybe it's not winning fish. I'd still rather be there than having to grind out some community hole around a bunch of other people. It's just the way I like to fish. But
Yeah.
anyway, I just stay confident because I know that eventually you will stumble on enough fish are shallow, and winning fish are shallow. You just got to find them. And I know that it's not easy for everybody, no matter where they are, deep, shallow, whatever. So just got to hang in there, because the hardest part is, I'll end with this. Shallow fish aren't in giant schools of 30 and 100. Okay. That's just the fact. They're onesies and twosies. They're not really, that's the hardest part. And you got to know that going in. So you got to cover a lot of water. On a river or creek, there's only one alpha that would matter in a tournament in some small creek, like one alpha fish that would matter on your 5 fish limit. Like again, I'm just kind of being general here, 1.5 miles or 2 miles. There might be one that would really matter. Maybe two, maybe a couple, they could still be on your stringer, but and you just got to cover a water, man, and just find them that way. But fish fast, because when you fish shallow, you can fish fast, because either it hits the water and there's the first few cranks, there's an explosion on your bait, or a wake you see, and then you can reel it in if it's not, and keep moving and keep casting. So that's the thing. Just fish fast when you fish shallow.
I like it.
So
I like it. All right, got a bunch of comments over here. Here's CT Yak Bassin. Had a super tough bite during the first term this year in CT. Found a Yamatanuki bite. Placed top 5. That's what the Yamatanuki does. I love that freaking bait. Freaking so stupid.
Does it?
But I love it. All right, here's a couple more questions for you. Next actually came in from Low Life Angler and Wolf of Walmart. What?
Oh yeah.
Does the blade color matter for your chatterbait?
Absolutely, dude.
Now, really quick. I mean, has it been noticeable for you? That's
yes.
All right, go ahead.
So absolutely, I do not. If it's murky water, it's not going to matter. If it's murky, it's really not going to matter that much. If it's really stained, it's probably not. That's why you could use a painted blade, like the big blade chatterbait. They make them in these bright orange painted blades. But once it gets like, a foot and a half of visibility, something where a flash will matter. You see this thing flashing right here off the light? It does that like a spinnerbait, and it's like critical for me to have a blade that flashes, because it can draw their eye, and they'll notice that, and then they go and then they see what it is and they hone in on it. If it doesn't flash and it's far away, they might be keyed in on something this direction. And again, bass can see in 350 degree radius, so almost all the way around. So I want to alert them, signal them, and then all of a sudden they see that flash. It's like they can sense it and see it kind of with that side of their eye. That I don't know how they see and focus in. I guess they're like us. They can only focus in on a certain percentage, but it's like us. So I can see this way right now, but I can't focus in on it. I can see it and I know that it's there, and I can see a flash. I could if something moves, I can get my attention. I can see it. That's the way they are. But I want that flash, because it'll get their attention, and then they go over to it. So if it's clear enough, once it's like a foot and a half, it's at least flashy enough where it might matter when it goes by something, and they could hone in on it. Once it's like a spinnerbait. Once they hone in on the flashing, and they're attracted by the school of what a spinnerbait looks like is a little school of fish, right?
Sure.
Or a little, like a 5-inch fish or a 3-4 inch fish eating a couple 1 and 2 inch fish. Either way, when they get there, what do they eat? They eat the actual bigger one that your trailer's on and your skirt's on, your hook's on, right? So once they see this flash and they get attracted, they shoot over there. What are they going to eat? They're going to eat the actual part of your bait that you want them to eat. They're going to see this. So I prefer the ones that are colored. It doesn't matter to me if it's silver or gold. It just needs to flash. But I use the other blades. The other reason I don't like the painted blades, the flat painted blade on that big blade is fine. But I will say this, and I think the Evos have some of this going on, and some of the all the chatterbaits do. I avoid the ones that are painted and have the specks. Looks like green pumpkin. It's got specks, and I avoid painted blades because it starts to chip off. It's not a perfectly smooth surface. So the chatter isn't quite as perfect to me. And I know some people might like that. Like they might say, oh, it hunts a little bit better. And that's because it's not symmetrical. Right. It's not symmetrical because of that paint and whatnot. Plus it starts to chip and it just gets,
you get your flash then, Drew. That's how you get your flash.
Yeah, exactly. Once it chips, you get your flash. You get 2 chatterbaits in one.
You just got to fish it 10 times. I love it.
Yep. Now there's a point where it's so clear they don't really eat chatterbaits really well. When it's super clear, it gets so like in the summer they're going to do better on it's weird, but you'll do better on a spinnerbait because it calls them from far away, and and burning it, and the blades are on the surface spitting, and you're just burning it for smallmouth, and they just hit it. But a chatterbait, it seems like there is a point where, I don't know, man, it just
stops being as
crystal
effective.
clearest of waters. It just feels like, even though it doesn't make sense, you're either going to go to your plastics and jigs and things that are, jerk baits, or something that's just a nice, realistic little swim bait or something, right?
Yeah.
And then, or a spinner bait before chatterbait. For some reason, the chatterbait just isn't the best crystal clear water.
We both live in the same area. Where are you finding this crystal clear water in Ohio? Because I haven't found it in 40 years.
Well, there's some private lakes around that have, but I hardly have time to fish in Ohio, man. Kids and family keep me so busy. I'm always just out, fishing the Bassmaster and running this other stuff. But I do take the kids and the family out and fish a little bit.
Love it. Here's a question for you. I got a couple of questions coming from Utopia Outdoorsman. We were talking about the Nuki a second ago. Do you fish the Yamato Nuki at all?
I don't fish it. Is that? But basically, that's just because I'm not sponsored by them, and I'm under contract to not fish any other plastics but the Z-Man, and so I wouldn't ever.
Well, I can answer
throw anything like that. But I know it's a good bait. It works good. Isn't that one that's like a little? It's a little short one.
Looks like a bowling pin when you stick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Yeah, really cool bait.
It's
really versatile.
Especially, that's what my buddy, he got it. We wrecked them down in Southern Ohio on it. And I like the 3.5. I've got the most bass. I've got a 7-pounder last year at Ohio on the 3.5. However, the 4.25 is also good.
Yeah.
I like the 4.25 because when it rips out like it always does, it becomes a 3.5 and you could get all extra life out of it. So there you go.
It looks cool.
Utopia.
I've seen it. I mean, it looks cool for sure.
It's money. It really is. It's a lot of fun. I love throwing it into like laydowns.
Yeah.
Love it. And it just flutters down. And it usually just gets
nice.
Nailed.
Yeah.
Nailed. All right. Other questions here. Here's a good question from John Molnar. Drew, do you use any kayaks other than the Shuley? My Shuley was flawless on our Shenandoah River tourney last weekend. Yeah,
I mean, it's a great boat. I don't really use any other ones than that one because every once in a while I use the Smalley, but basically I'm a little bit lucky because I do have one that's a Shuley that's lighter than it's supposed to be, and it was accidentally made with less plastic, so they couldn't sell it. So I do have a little bit lighter ones, which is kind of nice. So it's basically the weight of the Smalley. So anyway, but I have that. So the Smalley is nice because you can, it's a little lighter. You can get it in and out of different access points. And there are times when the Smalley will be a little bit better for tight quarters, the size of it, the length of it. I mean, believe it or not, even I've won tournaments in the ultralight from Crescent that the width of that thing, literally just the width being 30 inches, right?
Yeah.
Got me into and through places that no other kayak and no one else could have. Now, is it like super rare to find a situation? It's like Keith Pochet, fishing out of his Gator Tracks boat or something small like that. Somebody trying to do that style in the bass boat world. Every once in a while, that boat, exactly that width, the size is just a little bit narrower or lighter or whatever, where he can get somewhere somebody else can't, and it matters. But not very often. But anyway, the Smalley is a little bit better for stuff like that. But the Shuley, it's just easier to stand in. I think for most people, it's a boat they prefer because I have, that light one, and because I've got multiple Shuleys set up for different ways. Like I got one double power poles and one that's for just the Torpedo, and one that's the lightweight one that has nothing on it at all. So it's literally just like, 50 pounds, just pick it up, 45, 50 pounds, whatever it is. So, not really, because I feel like it can do anything and everything. I can take it offshore. I feel totally comfortable in it. I can take it in big water. It's fine. I mean, it handles waves great because it's a riverboat. So, but you can make this is a cool segue to a point about kayaks. You can turn a RVR or a Shuley, or you name any other riverboat out there. You can turn it into a freaking good lake boat by putting a motor on it. Because the reason they're good riverboats is they're pretty maneuverable, right? The Shuley is very maneuverable. The bad part is out there with a paddle and no motor, you can get blown around by the wind, spinning circles on a lake, right? Sure. Well, once you put the motor on it, it negates all that. It's over. Now it's just a great lake boat because it's small, it's nice. You can still stand in it. You can do everything in it that everybody else can. And you got the motor, so you're not going to spin around. But can you turn a 13 or 14 foot gigantic heavy boat that's like I said, into a great riverboat and make it all of a sudden turn quick and easy? No. So you can go the opposite. You can only do one way, and then you can't do the other one You
The other
can't,
way.
I don't know how to say that. You know
I,
what I'm
I,
saying? So
we're following you. I love
you
it.
guys follow, but yeah, I don't really use them all. I love that boat. It's obviously I designed it, so I love it. But and that 45 pounder, just so you know, I've beat it to pieces for 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years. And even though it's under,
Got
like
the shot,
45 pounds
right.
of plastic shot weight, I've scraped. That's my riverboat. It's just destroyed on the bottom. Still can't get a hole in it. So they're tough boats, man.
Yeah. I like it. Here's a good
Who's
question
next?
for you coming
Yeah,
in
we got
from
some
the
great
comment
questions,
section.
guys.
This is from Wolf of Walmart. The question is, does Drew customize his trailers, color markers, cut them down, modify them in any way? Because I noticed you didn't have a skirt on that one. And if you buy them from Z-Man, they do.
Yeah.
So what do you got?
I don't know what that happened to that skirt. That was like a 1 ouncer. I don't know. It may have taken off or something to show. I do modify some stuff sometimes. So the one thing I'll say, we're talking about chatterbaits here, and this is helpful. Like a boot tail trailer, like something like this, is going to make it ride higher in the water column. It gives it lift. That boot tail lifts the actual whole bait, plus the last tech, of course, floats. But basically, you can turn a half-ounce chatterbait, depending if you put let's say you put a 5-inch diesel minnow or something with a paddle tail. That's especially if it's buoyant plastic like this is. You can turn a half-ounce chatterbait into a fish like a 3/8 ounce without cutting off, retying a 3/8 ounce on. And then you could put a straight tail on like this, and it's going to sink faster. And then it fishes like a half ounce again with one bait. You don't have to retie. So that's one thing. But I don't really color them. Z-Man, again, that's the only plastics I use. I love it because it lasts forever. I mean, it just stretches,
100%.
lasts forever. So I don't, they have so many different trailers now, like so many they make, that I just use straight what they have and then what they make. And their chatterbaits are made with the little, wire keepers to hold them on there.
Yep.
They last forever. I mean, it's like,
Oh, that's what
it's
I
on there
use.
for good.
I get chatter spikes, chatter shads, all those
Yeah,
are my trailers for
all
my
of them.
chatterbaits. 100%.
The new diesel kickers. That's
Yeah.
the one, dude. I wish I had some of those here. I need to start bringing some new stuff down here. The new diesel kickers. If you go look at that thing, bro, it is awesome. It's thick. It's meaty. They have two
right.
sizes, like a 3-inch and a 5. It's thick, meaty. And then the two, it's like those billy goats they made. And have you ever seen the goats, the billy goats? They have those two like little paddle. So this thing there's 2 of them like that, but it basically, they come together. It looks like it's a fin, just a fish, right? And it's a wider, taller profile. But that thing is really good on the back of a chatterbait because it's thicker and meatier. It helps it skip, and it's a real good thing. So yeah, I don't really do a ton of. The only thing I do, like, if I assume he's talking about chatterbaits, but like on the cross-size jig, a little smaller, which they're discontinuing that jig. I don't even know if they have it on the website for sale.
Oh, the cross-size
jig, yeah, the cross-size power finesse jig, the small one.
Okay,
that one right there. So I do cut down the Pro Crawls like elastic crawfish bait. So Pro Crawls, I cut it down. Like I cut a 1/4 inch of it off to make it fit a little bit better on a smaller like power finesse jig. So I do have to cut some stuff down like that. I don't really color it and dip it in anything and stuff like that. But
yeah, no, I like it.
We
are going to I'm going to slowly start landing this plane only because I have to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, drive to Cleveland, fly to Maine, and do some content with Malone Auto Racks. So I'm excited about doing that. So pumped up.
That'd be great.
But that's an early morning for me. So a couple more questions for you, Drew. And these are some questions that I have. What's a May bass fishing myth that needs to die, in your opinion? What's something you hear all the time and it kind of like irks you? You're like, that's not true. That's not true. Nope.
I feel like we kind of even did some of this at the beginning a little bit about that the bass are done spawning. But again, it depends on where you're at. I mean, they're done in Florida. I mean, but like I said, in middle Georgia, where they were spawning and still spawning. Again, I think your biggest ones definitely spawn earlier, but just they're I don't know. I guess that's probably it. The one we talked about earlier, just that it's it's over, and it's not over at all, because fish, they spawn in waves first of all, and a female can spawn several times, and they will, because especially in rivers, because flooding and stuff happens. So think about like grapes. The fisheries biologist told it to me this way one time. It's like when they check their eggs, some grapes on the vine are ripe and ready to eat. Some are already like dying off, right? And some are not ready yet. That's the way their eggs are all wound up in their body. So when they have a group that's ready, boom, they're going. So that's kind of a myth. People think, oh, it's super warm and like late February, March, they're just going to go spawn. Well, they can't really spawn until that first round is like ready. And, a human, like female, it takes 9 months, right? So
Mm.
there's a time period it definitely takes for them to get ripe and ready. They can't just because it gets warm. But here's the thing though, at some point over time, because fish spawn in January, December in Florida, whatever, like November, somewhere in
Yeah.
time, that fish, when it was born or whatever, I don't know how this works, but it was spawned originally, whenever it spawned there in that November or December, it's probably going to be one of the fish that does it in November or December the next year. Like that's its cycle, its timing. But they might go for a few. So I would just think that's one of the myths that I think we kind of debunked earlier, and that they're just all heading out deep now. I just don't think that's true until later in May and June, when they're kind of finally like in lakes, at least going back offshore.
Yeah.
I think it's been a long time since they had and again, not every bass is the same. Been a long time since they had a frog or a lizard or a snake to eat or anything like that, or a crawfish, stuff that's more, sometimes
that's a lot of return on effort, especially if you get one. That's a lot of food versus maybe something else that they're doing. So yeah, I get it.
Enjoy
you think
the
so?
diversity.
But there's had conversations with them.
Yeah, I think so. I think they enjoy diversity.
I like to talk to you.
Yeah,
for a long time.
I think they're like sick of. Now, there's definitely some that are like, all right, let's get back out to the shad, and that's just kind of who they are and what they do. But that's the same with us, man. You got people who want to live on the mountains. You got people who want the beach. You got people that want to live on the river. You got people that want to live on the lake. And bass are no different. They're just they're just ones that are like resident to the river or this area or wood and bluegill eaters, and that's who they are and what they want to do, where they want to live, and it's all working for them, and they're like, I'm happy. And then there's some who are like, I just want to swim around and eat shad out in the middle of the lake and then rest on a hump or somewhere or some boulders and wait and relax until they come, and then I'll chase them some more. And it's like, it's why this sport is so great, man. We'll never figure it out, and it keeps us guessing.
That's true. If it was figure outable, it would be wildly boring, and no one would want to do it because there's no diversity to it, right? It's just the same thing over and over again. So I hear you there. I'm hearing a lot of comments over here about the Deeks Cheapskate. I believe one of these came in a Dark Horse tackle box. I took it down to the Nationals for KBF, and I only had one of them, and that thing just tore them up. And then I lost it, and then I couldn't catch anything else on anything else. And so I don't know if it was just the timing, but I will give a testament to that Deeks chatterbait as a great alternative if you if I see one or get your hands on one. And you got a lot of people over here too. Bass Thumb AI, Deeks, Wolf of Walmart, Deeks. And so Low Life Angler's got one tied on right now. So solid.
Utopia Outdoorsman has a question. I got to answer it for him because I can tell he needs some help here.
Here, this one?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll read it. So for those who are listening in, so if you're fishing a river tournament and it's right after the passing a low pressure system with rain and temps in the mid 40s, what are you throwing for smallies? Asking for a friend.
Well, I want to know what his water temperature is like. I think he's saying that the air temp is in the mid 40s, the rain and the temps are in the mid 40s. So
follow-up question for you. You got a chance to answer.
Yeah, if he has a chance to answer. But this is the cool thing too about, like, you want to chase the more optimal, comfortable like conditions, right? So for us, we just talked about earlier in the show, there's the optimal comfort conditions, right? So all year long, I personally, because think about it, man, like, are you guys, if you're watching this, are you going to go, or do you care about eating food, even if you're starving, if you are standing outside in 15-degree weather and you have a jacket on? What are you going to do first? You're going to go get comfortable first and then eat? Yeah, probably. I think bass are no different. They want to be, because they could go weeks without eating and stay alive. They are not like us. They can literally last a long time. So if they need to. So they want to be comfortable first. So at the point when he's talking about weather and low pressure and all this stuff, you got to find, if you can find the area of the lake that's the most comfortable for them, which in colder water situations, that's the warmest water. And then in the hottest water, it's better cooler oxygen, water. Like cooler water coming in, feels like a fan or an air conditioner would feel on us, or going under a shade tree when we're too hot, right? That's what it feels for them. So they want to be comfortable. And then there's going to be food there. They can eat whatever comes around. They can eat, there's food everywhere all over the lake. It's like, just depending on if they want to be in the middle and shad, or up on the bank and bluegill and lizards and snakes and insects, whatever. So anyway, I don't really know. Maybe you'll answer but if I would just say rain is great because you got some moving water. So you got creeks that are doing something. And we talked about May and mud lines. So creek mouse, but if the water temperatures are still in the 50s or something, like, and you've got I'm going to assume there's some stain, right? Because he doesn't say it's clear and you've got rain and water. So dude, I'm telling you right now, a spinnerbait or a chatterbait is so money to just slow roll. Oh, the water temp. So the water temps are in the mid 40s. I don't know where he's at. It's pretty, to be
Canada,
that, he's got to be pretty far up north. Yeah. But
Yeah,
I would
right?
still say you slow roll a spinnerbait because to Canada, water in the 40s is like where we live. That's like water in the mid 50s. It's like that's like way warmer for them. They're already like ready to roll. So if you have water in the 50s in Florida, they're like, they don't touch anything.
Nothing.
But in Canada, they're like, let's go. So it's kind of like now that I live in Ohio, everyone's like, oh, it's 50 degrees and sunny. They're in shorts and flip flop. We're like down
100%.
south, they're like freezing still. Because anyway, I know, trust me, I used to live, and I grew up down south and lived there most of my life and last 5 years here. So anyway, mid 40s. Yeah, man, I'm telling you that the swim baits, if it's clear enough, the swim baits, they're in pre-spawn. So you're going to be able to throw like a swag, a 5-inch swag, or even that bigger one with the bottom hook, something like that. Something, if it's murky enough or where you need that chatterbait or spinnerbait to really put off some vibration, that's what I'll go with. Because they're going to be, don't worry about low pressure. I'm not saying it's BS and none of it's true about low pressure and high and whatever, like high pressure and which one is, well, low pressure is actually good, but high pressure, as they say, is bad. So low pressure, they should really be chewing like a spinnerbait or something. But all that pressure stuff, it doesn't really matter because we got to go when we got to go, right? We have to go to the tournament and fish it. So if the water temperature is warm enough, I don't think, like everyone was saying, that the day two on Caddo is going to be really cold that morning, a super cold night, cold front, just shock these fish. They're not going to be hitting moving baits. They're not going to be shallow. And I'm over there going, nah, this water's been too warm for too long. It is not going to change a thing. And it didn't. I mean, they were up shallow. Like I said, they were eating 10 inches of water. They were hitting moving baits. I mean, just, it's all up here. People they get psyched out. So
yeah, it's almost information overload sometimes when you start filling it with all the information available to us nowadays. It's wild.
It's true.
It's crazy.
Yeah, can be for sure.
Well, Drew,
But,
I'm gonna
right,
have to land this plane here because
Do it.
4 o'clock's gonna roll around soon. But I'll give you anything you'd like to share. I know we shared it early on, but some people pop in, they pop out. What's the next tournament or the next few tournaments that you have that people can sign up for the KAS?
The next one is the New River Revival. And if you want to, I'm sharing the fly right there if you want to share it. But New River Revival is on the May 15th and 16th, and it's in the best section of the New River. So basically, you got from the West Virginia border down to North Carolina. If you've never been to a KS event, you're about to be blown away by. I mean, first 50, you get $100 gift bag. You win all these extra prizes, for being the furthest person that came from the furthest away. Win a pair of cross kick shoes, or the first two. You get a couple new anglers win a pair of cross kick shoes. Stuff just all this random stuff that you don't really have to even pay attention to. The first person who catches a bass on Saturday morning, the very first bass, gets a $400 light kit from Guardian Angel, and the last person to catch a bass on Friday evening gets a $400 light kit from its first and last bass.
Check out the wacky worms.
Yeah, what's that, wacky worms?
Break out the wacky worms. Get your first bass.
Just the first one. Yeah, man, that first catch you better be, or the last bass on Friday. So there's all kinds of fun stuff that you don't really even have to know about. Now you can go to our bonuses program. There's other obviously stuff there too, but go learn about it. We have seminars. Jeff Little is going to speak along with Jameson Redding. They're going to do on the water seminar for the Bass U brunch on Friday. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to see a lot of people, that you follow on YouTube, Creek Fishing Adventures, John Dalton. He'll be at that one, and a bunch of other, folks that you guys know and see and follow. So it's just a fun time. Come have fun with us. We pay out 100%, like we talked about at the beginning, over 100%, including the prizes, close to 200%. So the next one after that, the Juniata Regatta, and that one is also going to be an unreal smallmouth event on the Juniata River, which is not too far from us over there in Pennsylvania. Yeah. So after that, we go to Wisconsin. We have one the weekend after the Bassmaster event. So if you want to stick around and stay in Wisconsin, we start on Friday. So rest on Monday, practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then opening ceremonies is Thursday. The brunch on Friday, and then boom, you roll into the event, and all in just 1 week. Taking off of you can take a 1 week of vacation. You could do them both. So
I love it, man. Well, Drew,
and
always
Broodstock's the finale's in Tennessee. I'll mention that last one. So
Oh, there you go.
Centralized. So
Yeah, you're coming down. You only got a few more left, handful left.
yeah, I guess so. 4 left.
Oh, man.
So we'll see you guys there. Yeah.
Drew, always appreciate you. Head over to kayakadventureseries.com, sign up, check those out, learn a little bit more about it. And Drew, always appreciate your time and all the value that you bring to the podcast. Man, a lot of nuggets of truth in there. And if you didn't take away something from this podcast, you weren't listening. So appreciate you. Also, next week, I'm going to have Debo. We're going to come smash up again, and we're going to have Berkeley on. We're going to be talking about some designers of the Lab series. So we're excited about that. Followed by the following week, one of my favorite guests, we're going to have Science of the Strike back on. And so we had them on a couple months ago, and they agreed to come back on again. So we're pumped up about that. And then the following 2 weeks after that, well, I'm down at Santee Cooper with a whole lot of content creators. It's going to be a good time. So I will see you next Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on the Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast. Thank you, Drew. Thank you all for listening. You guys have a good one.
Thank you. See you guys.